Hey y'all, it's Raj with EV365, and today we're taking a look at the Tesla Cybertruck. All right, y'all, here we are in the Cybertruck, and I'm just backing out of my driveway. And a couple of things I wanted to point out, unique with Teslas these days, here, we'll put it into park, is again, like I mentioned, there's no stems on the steering wheel. So blinkers or turn signals, you're gonna use the buttons over here. The bottom is your left signal, top is your right signal. And then for shifting your gears, let me turn that off. And then when you do that, it does pop up your right camera, your left camera. So that's pretty cool. It pops up over here on the screen. It is kind of random. It pops up and just kind of covers up some of the other information that's there. And I noticed that in the Model X I was in as well. Yeah, it'd be cool if they kind of cleaned that up a little bit, but still, it's a good feature to have, and it's covering up information you don't necessarily need while you're driving. And then to shift gears, it's over here on the left of the screen. Some people like that, some people don't. I kind of do wish they still had the stem for that. I just get a little nervous about depending on the screen to get your vehicle into gear at all times, but that's what Tesla definitely likes doing. Very minimal, getting rid of as many buttons as you can. So to go into reverse, you just pull down, basically to go in the direction you want to go into. And there, you're in reverse. Drive would be forward. And yeah, I like to sit pretty high in general. So when I've got the seat set to where I'm at, I feel pretty good. You do not see the front trunk at all. And of course, it's a pretty stubby, short front there, so you don't see it. So your view kind of ends right at the front of this really long dashboard. And again, this is super long. So that's just something for you to think about, or to like get into one of these and test drive it and see how you feel about that and see how comfortable you are with driving that. I do think a lot of folks are going to get into the Cybertruck that are coming over from Model 3s or from other vehicles and not just realize how big of a vehicle it is. And even for me, when I shifted over from my smaller vehicles over to the Rivian, that's something you do need to get used to initially, and we'll see how it feels in the Cybertruck driving it around. So yeah, we're gonna take off, and here we are in reverse. Your cameras pop up when you're doing that. You've got your left mirror, your right mirror camera, and your rear camera. So plenty of viewing angles there from the cameras. And again, nothing in the back. You can't see anything through the rear view mirror because I've got the tonneau cover closed. So you are dependent on these screens to be your rear view mirror. So let's see how that looks when we're driving. Yeah, so it looks like it'll keep those cameras up. All right, so now that we're actually moving along, it minimizes everything. You've got all your options here, but your rear view mirror is just right here. And it's not real big, to be honest. Pretty thin, but it does give you everything you need. So that's just something you're gonna have to train your mind to look over here when you need rear view mirror and not up here. So something safety related to consider. And of course you'll get used to that, I think, but you're never gonna have that full like depth and ability to do this when you're looking at a camera as opposed to looking at a mirror. So just another safety consideration when trying to get into the Cybertruck. It's a uniquely shaped vehicle. It's a unique vehicle. So you are gonna have some unique things like that to consider. But these triangular side view mirrors are huge. So no issues with the shape of those mirrors causing any kind of difficulties with view or anything like that. But yeah, that tonneau cover thing, that's something major that people will need to get used to. It is just like, there's no leaning back here and seeing what vehicles are back there. So you are going to, there you go, I was looking for the stem right there. You are going to have to get used to using your cameras to let you know where all your blind spots are, which is good. It's good to have those, but so now they're more than just a kind of a safety feature. They're also there to, they're there kind of as your primary use to look around here. And I'm gonna move this seat back. And of course, seat controls and everything are just here on the side of the seats. You don't have to go into the screen to do that. Okay, and so the big thing, here's the acceleration as we get onto this open road here. Oh yeah, and of course, like any EV, launching vehicles now isn't as sexy as it used to be. But yeah, that feels great. Just like any electric vehicle, they've got great torque and pickup, so nothing to complain about there. And the big thing to point out with the Tesla Cybertruck that is super unique, something new, something I think Tesla's going to go with moving forward. Elon's even teased it for their future, the coupe that they're putting together, but it's going to be steer-by-wire. And what that means is, your traditional steering wheels, that steering wheel is actually connected to those wheels. And so when you're turning the steering wheel, you're turning those wheels. And you got to kind of turn it around to make a left turn or turn it around to make a right turn. In this one, it's not that there's actual wires going out and you're pulling on the wheels to turn it. It's all electronic. So it's a signal that's being sent to the wheels to make them turn. And so with that, you really don't have to give the steering a lot to get it to turn. And honestly, you can't even turn the steering wheels all the way around like you would with a normal steering wheel. You're like a quarter way through and you're doing a full right turn. So just something unique that Tesla's trying to do there. It's kind of like what maybe you would see on airplanes and aircrafts and things like that. That's probably a little bit of Elon's influence from SpaceX, kind of cross-pollinating with Tesla there. So yeah, but so far the steer-by-wire is actually really nice. Like, I've got no complaints with it. And honestly, other than the steering wheel not being able to go all the way around, it doesn't, like, there's nothing off-putting of it or something that you would think that's different from steering a normal steering wheel as far as responsiveness. Yeah, and one thing I wanted to point out was when you're driving, obviously people like to listen to music or podcasts and things like that. The stereo in the Cybertruck is really good. The speaker system is awesome, but it sounds fantastic. Honestly, I think they've maybe even improved upon what they've got in their current vehicles. So no complaints there. And I'm not a huge audiophile or anything like that, but I do love listening to music. And the stereo, I think, in the Tesla Cybertruck is gonna make everybody happy. Tesla's always done a real good job with their audio system. So yeah, and driving the vehicle around here, one thing you do notice is with the big chunky tires, you do hear those when you're driving, and that's with any off-road vehicle that's got those all-terrain type tires. You're gonna feel those and hear those while you're driving. And Tesla right now just offers this Cybertruck with those wheels. I'm not sure, or with those tires. I'm not sure if there's a road wheel that's available right now, and I'm not really sure how the Cybertruck honestly would even look with a road wheel. So yeah, that's just kind of part of the branding of the vehicle, and that's something that you just need to be prepared for and be aware of if you've never driven on all-terrains before. But yeah, otherwise the drive is awesome. And as I mentioned, the steer-by-wire, I'm not having any trouble getting used to it. It is real responsive, which is good. And my neighbor, he got this truck and he was super excited about it. He's got the same addiction I do to, like, drive, putting orders on EVs and driving them around a little bit and stuff. So when he got this, he was super happy with the Cybertruck, and he had gotten a Rivian R1S, and he didn't really like the way that drove, whereas I love the way our R1T drives. He loves the way the Cybertruck drives, and yeah, I gotta agree. It's, like I said, it's super responsive. Acceleration's great. It doesn't necessarily feel super heavy like a big old truck. I mean, obviously you're in a truck, you're sitting high, but much like I feel in the Rivian, I feel pretty comfortable darting in and out of traffic with this vehicle, even though it is really long. It's 18.6 inches long. Yeah, and the only thing there that makes you kind of feel the size, and it's not necessarily even because of the size again, it's just because you can't see out the back. So if you're just used to looking back like that, then you may not feel super comfortable darting in and out of traffic, because usually that's what you're going to do. So it's just getting that mind trained to use your screens. But then of course, if you're turning, the only way your right screen or your right camera is going to pop up is if you use that blinker. So if you're somebody who doesn't like to use your turn signal when you're lane changing and things like that, if you get the Cybertruck, that's something you're going to have to get into your normal habit and get used to using these buttons, so you can get those cameras to pop up and you can see your blind spots. So now we're going to take the Cybertruck up here on the highway and just see how it does at kind of higher speeds. And I'll be honest, this Cybertruck, from a wind noise standpoint so far, is probably the best Tesla I've been in. You know, I've been in some Model X's that were pretty loud on the inside, Model 3s and Model Ys for sure. But this one is real quiet. There's no real random wind noise that I hear coming out of it, not even coming off of this wiper, to be honest. So yeah, that feels really good. Here, let's see how we do. We'll get over here in the left lane, kind of accelerate out of here. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Yeah, feels really good, drives well. I've got no complaints with the drive. And we'll get the truck over here on a windy road and kind of see how it handles on that. All right, so here we are on Mount Bunnell. And one thing I wanted to show you, we're going downhill here and going about 20 miles an hour. I'm just gonna let off the accelerator and just let you kind of see how that regen braking works. And yeah, it pulls you to a full stop right there. And we're going downhill as well. So you can see it's gonna get you to a full stop. So you can do full one pedal driving, and we'd expect that. We're used to the regen braking that Tesla offers, and it's good. And of course you can adjust that, I believe, in the screen. I won't mess around with it right now while we're driving. So if you're not used to the super strong regen braking, you can set it to a lower setting. Yeah, and then now we're about to get to a point of Mount Bunnell where we're gonna hit some windy roads, and we'll test this steering out. Yeah, so here we got some good turns here on Mount Bunnell. Let's see how this steer-by-wire does. Yeah, and this is like a tight road. We're going uphill. And it's handling these turns. This is a huge vehicle. Yeah, whoa. Yeah, it's taking these turns really well. And we've got a car up here that's gonna slow us down. But I can just tell you, yeah, the steer-by-wire with obviously the torque and the acceleration of the Tesla being an EV, it handles it all really well. And here we are at the top of Mount Bunnell. And yeah, you've got some people here obviously excited to see the Cybertruck. Happy to see it. Yeah, so, and that's another thing about the Cybertruck. Obviously, a lot of reason people like to do it is because of the unique look and feel of it. And it is definitely still a head turner here, even here in Austin. And we've got quite a few of these Cybertrucks driving around Austin. Yeah, y'all, so that's driving the Tesla Cybertruck. And for me, it handled driving on that tight road with winds and turns and hills, handled it really well. I didn't feel the size of the vehicle at all. So from a driving standpoint, super happy with the way they've got this Cybertruck tuned in, especially for being such a large vehicle. The only complaint I really have is, again, the blind spots and having to be so dependent on the cameras. And that's something some people like, you know, is that tech and being able to be dependent on that. For me, I'm not quite there yet. So that's just something for folks to consider when driving it. And then, of course, I hope they're quick to getting some of the basic driving features that now are kind of standard, like adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist and things like that, sent out to folks with the software updates. But yeah, the drive was great. The steer-by-wire for me honestly felt good. I didn't really even notice a difference from the standard steering, and I'm not like a performance driver that would notice those subtle differences. But I will say that it is real responsive. You don't have to turn it as much as a standard steering wheel to make a turn and things like that. But yeah, it feels good, and it's not something that I think people will have a hard time getting used to. You probably have a harder time getting used to the signals being over here on the steering wheel and maybe the gear shifting being here. And now that they've added the top and the bottom to the yoke, that's not even an issue. I kind of like this steering wheel. I think it's a pretty good shape. I think a lot more vehicles are going to go with this shape, probably, to be honest. And the other thing, which is a Tesla thing, obviously the Model X and the Model S don't do this, but this does not have a screen above the steering wheel. So you do got to get used to getting your head to go this way to look at what speed you're driving. But they've got it here on the top left, so it's not too bad, really. But I do like having the center screen over here. So that's, again, that's just a preference for me. And one thing I would just recommend to anybody that is interested in one, and I'm sure a lot of people are, and a lot of people have orders for one in, is because it is so unique, there's a lot of little features and quirks that you need to know about or just to make sure you're comfortable with before you make a purchase this big. You know, like kind of in general on the outside, the stainless steel is something to look at and consider and think about how you feel about that. opening the doors and closing the doors? Are you comfortable with that? Are you comfortable with the fingerprints? You know, if you've got a family, there's a lot of unique things, safety kind of issues that you might want to think about. Like I said, the edges of the doors and the stainless steel are all kind of rough and sharp, you know, in some areas. So just feel that, see how it is, see how it is. It's a big truck. See how it is for you to get in and out of it, how it is for your spouse to get in and out of it, or your kids. And just kind of get used to the vehicle in that manner. And then of course, if you can drive it, you really want to do that. I know a lot of people are coming over from smaller vehicles to these EV trucks in general for the first time. And if you haven't driven a truck before, you know, you want to make sure you're used to the size of the vehicle and the weight of the vehicle, and see if it can fit in your garage or in those parking spaces you've got. Think about where you live. If you're in an apartment that's tight or it's got a parking garage, that may not, you know, a big vehicle like this may not be for you right now, at least. And then driving the Cybertruck, again, because of its unique shape, because of the tonneau cover, a lot of your rear view and side view is dependent on your cameras. So you just got to make sure you're used to that. And if you kind of feel all that out and it's something that you're comfortable with and you want to, or like using those cameras is something you're okay with, then the Cybertruck is awesome. You know, it's gonna, you know, for people that want to get into the Cybertruck, you're obviously getting into it because it's got that unique look. You know, it's a Tesla, so if you're into Tesla and you're into the brand, you know, it's definitely got everything that Tesla brings to you. You've got access to that supercharger network, which is awesome. So road tripping and things like that is really easy. And then the Cybertruck brings additional capabilities. Obviously, you can take this thing off-road if you want to. You can tow if you need to. And then, of course, it's really durable with that stainless steel. There's videos out there if you want to check them out of people throwing rocks and shooting at them and whatnot, but the vehicles are really tough. You can kick them. Well, so if you're interested in the vehicle, see if you can test drive one. Make sure you're okay with all the quirks, and if you are, the Tesla Cybertruck is pretty cool, and I would say you'd have a fun time owning it. So thanks for watching, guys, and if you got any questions, put them in the comments. You know, I'll ask my buddy, my neighbor, and we can get some of those answered for you. So thanks for watching. Hang loose, y'all.